Alright, good morning. So it's 7:30 local time. We've been up since a little bit before 5. We got up a little early to enjoy the annex. We actually set up the annex last night. After a little bit of deliberation, we decided that it would give us a warmer enclosure to use a little space heater, and we could sit around and chat a little bit longer and with the warmer air. So this morning we had some coffee and breakfast and tried taking some pictures of the stars before sunrise. And as you can see, I'm making my way back the way we came into this campsite. We talked about it a lot, about that drop off there. Both of us, I think, really wanted to do it, to try it. We both believed that we could do it. But we talked about the risk trade, and the positives of doing that route would be that we'd get some awesome footage for that one section, maybe one other section down below where it was not quite as difficult but still fun. But then the rest of the trail was kind of unknown, and it's not like it was overlooking a canyon or anything really incredible. Oh, this is hard to see. And so we just decided it wasn't really worth whatever risk there was just for that little bit of gain. And we figured that there's plenty of other trails in the area that might have similar challenging terrain, and we can either loop through those or go as far as we want and turn back. We have some other goals for today too. We definitely want to get into town, get rid of some trash, fuel up, and be ready, spring loaded, so that when we go into Canyonlands, into our Shafer campsite there at the beginning of the White Rim Trail, that we're in a good posture to get there early. We don't want to take a trail that might suck up several hours of our day. So we're definitely playing it on the conservative side, and I'm okay with that. I actually took a look under the vehicle this morning, and I see that I did get a little scrape on my front skid plate, probably from this stuff here coming in. That's all right though, that's what it's for. But that's why I want to get more armor before we do really aggressive stuff like that one there where we'd have to stack up rocks. There's the chance too that as we're going down those rocks that either the rocks kind of shuffle or we lose a little traction and slide and miss the rocks. There's just a lot going on there. So while it is a very conservative route, I think it's probably the right one, because there's still plenty of other fun to be had around here, and we know we're going to be back, maybe not to this exact spot, but there's just too much to do around here to not come back someday, hopefully soon. It is funny though how you go through this stuff the first time and you take it real slow, and then you come back the second time and you're like, no big deal. Definitely gaining confidence, I hope in a good way. I hope I'm not becoming arrogant, to which I would damage the vehicle. So we'll check in with you later. We're gonna get back out to the main trail, which takes us a few miles later to a highway, and we're headed into Moab. So it's gonna take us maybe an hour and a half to get up all the way up there. And we're gonna get all refueled and everything set to go. We're gonna stop in at Arches. Jordan needs to get something there. And then we may or may not hit some other trails before we go on into Canyonlands. And that is hard to see with the sun, man. real thing. So we've been driving on the White Rim Trail. We kind of underestimated how long the whole trail will take. You know, some people say that you can do the whole thing in one day, but that's probably a summer day, and it's probably when you're going dawn to dusk, not really stopping to enjoy the sights. So, you know, we didn't really pick up on that in the research. So since we have a campsite tonight at the beginning, well, at least on the beginning on the east end, and we have a campsite tomorrow night at the beginning or end on the west end, we're just going to go in as far as we can for part of a day and go back today, and then we'll do the same thing tomorrow, and then the next day we got to head out. So we stopped for a moment to get out and enjoy the view, so let me share that with you. You see the mountains in the background there, maybe. Yep. The size of this place, I mean, it's like Grand Canyon, but it's different. It's
incredible.
It's just bizarre, amazing, beautiful.
You got what, 10, 12,000 foot peaks in the background?
Yeah.
It drops down to about 4,000 feet, 4,500 feet here where the basin, where the river is?
Probably, yeah. And yeah, we're out here on an edge, so give you an idea what we're standing on. Here's a little bit farther down the White Rim, just so I suppose one of these rocks could fall out from under us, so that's probably a bad thing. But we won't do that today. And just before we get started here, I wanted to show you, we got some goats over here, wild goats. So as you can see, we're turning around. You know that time that, you know, that instance, that situation when you're at Disney World and you have to tell the kids, sorry, but that's it for today. We got to go back home or back to the hotel. That's what this feels like. We are only maybe 1/10 of the way through the trail, maybe. And you know, it's just every turn, it's amazing, it's magnificent. But we got to get back to campsite before it gets too late, so that we can set it up during the daylight. And you know, it's going to be cold tonight, just like it was yesterday. Also, there's a place that we stopped on the way out here that I didn't think we should drive up there, but after we hiked it, it actually doesn't look that bad. So we're gonna head back to that point. We're gonna try to get the vehicles up to the edge and get some cool pictures. When we were up there, there was one Jeep and there were 2 motorcycles. So it's probably a popular place. Hopefully it's not too crowded when we get up there. We can get some shots and then get back and still have a couple hours of time to set up camp and relax. Yeah, another thing we were talking about is, you know, it would be possible to get up really early and just be ready to go as soon as there's any kind of light. Just dawn, leave right at dawn, not wait around for sunrise. And you know, we could probably maybe get through the whole trail before dusk, and I mean after sunset, when it gets completely dark, because it's, you know, it's a shorter day in the winter or in the late fall. But we wouldn't really enjoy it to the extent that we're enjoying this, where we get to get out, take pictures, and kind of slow down on some of the technical stuff rather than really trying to rush through it. So while we really wanted to do the whole thing, it just wasn't the right call for this trip, and we will definitely be back for another one. I'm gonna pan over here. Hopefully you can see this. Just look at those rocks. Look at the way they're stacked up there. It's so cool. The way that they erode from underneath and then they eventually fall down into the canyon. Since you've seen this portion of the trail on the way out, I'm gonna shut it off and I'm not gonna record the full distance unless I get up behind Jordan and see something where he's really flexing to get through. back from White Rim Trail back onto Shafer Trail. And we're headed down to the Shafer campsite. And I think this trail keeps on going into Moab. I think it doesn't just end at the campsite.
Only 32 miles on this road back to Moab.
Yeah, you know, for future planning, it might make sense to start on the other side and end over here and take this trail back to Moab.
Yep, good idea.
So we're at camp tonight. Shafer campsite, I think.
That's right.
And we're in Canyonlands on the White Rim Trail. And it looks like we might be by ourselves. So there's where we came in. Coming down that switchback Shafer Trail. Actually, I should say we're slightly off White Rim Trail on Shafer Trail. Here's our campsite. I gotta show you the rear wheel. It's a little bit wonky tonight. We had a couple of rocks stacked, and I went a little bit past. But hey, it's pretty level. Makes for a good flat surface for the night. So I got the tent up, we got the annex so we can stay warm. Jordan's over here, we got a few rocks to level him out. And then that's our backdrop through the kitchen window. Not bad. Hi there.
Hey, welcome back.
Fireside chat with Grandpappy Jordan.
So I think what we were going to talk about is our inadequate plan for tackling the White Rim Trail in all of its awesome glory. So after a quick chat with the rangers at the visitor center, understanding that yes, it is 105 miles, which we were planning for, staying at Shafer where we are tonight, and then trying to drive around to Taylor, which was going to be our second spot to camp tomorrow night, was going to take us about anywhere from 10 to 12 hours to drive it. So we weren't prepared for that. So instead,
and that's not even counting like if we wanted to stop and take pictures and right.
yeah. I mean, it was just 10 to 12 hours of driving. Not any side trails, no pictures, no additional looky-loos.
No lunch.
No lunch, and I'm not going to operate well on no lunch. So what we decided to do this afternoon then is drive into the canyon, so on the White Rim Trail, drive a couple hours into the canyon, and then that we knew it would take us a couple hours to get to camp, get camp set up, and get everything going. So a couple hours turned into be, 7 or 9 miles past our campsite.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'd have to pull up the guy I tracked.
Something on that order, because the trail was just so rough. It's very rough terrain. In some spots we were basically crawling. There would be an off chance that we would get to run for 10 miles an hour for a little bit and then slow back down and be crawling over rocks. So we got to see some beautiful terrain, got some really cool pictures which you guys will enjoy and you'll be able to see. But then we had to turn around, come back, set up camp, and that's where we're at tonight. We've finished dinner, which was awesome, by the way. Steak, eggs, potatoes. Leftovers are going to be part of breakfast tomorrow. But yeah, we drastically underestimated the White Rim Trail, and now we're trying to figure out the next time we're coming back and how we're going to tackle it a little bit differently. So tomorrow's plan is actually going to be pick up camp early in the morning. We're going to set an alarm for 5 a.m. to start getting up, getting breakfast, get everything going, and then make our way out of this portion of the White Rim Trail, which is more easterly, head back toward the visitor center, go down Mineral Road, and come in the back way of White Rim Trail and take a look at the Hard Scrabble. That's where the rangers were telling us it's very technical, very slow going in that area, so we wanted to check it out as a in and out type route, and we're going to be spending the night, instead of at Taylor on Sunday night, we're going to be spending it at Labyrinth, which gives us about 40 minutes headway for Monday morning when we start making our way back to Amarillo and eventually to Houston on Tuesday. So that should be fun.
Yeah, tomorrow will be fun. Not looking forward to the very fast-paced long drive home. So, let's see here. Another thing we were talking about is trying to find more analogies to compare between what we do at work and what we're doing here with off-roading and overlanding. And so one of the things that's really challenging to train astronauts in spacewalking is to teach them how to know the physical size of their spacesuit. And so two of the biggest parts of that are the visor and then the big backpack that has all of their life support equipment. And it's very common when they're moving around, they have to hold on with their hands to move from one place to another. And it's very common for them to come too close to something and hit their visor because it sticks out quite a ways from their face. And they're just not used to that. Similarly, they have a big backpack on that has all of their life support equipment, and so if they get up next to something, they might hit it and not realize that they're bumping into the space station, potentially damaging their suit. And so as we were going across various terrain today, we were talking a little bit about how you have to have that proprioception, the spatial awareness to you kind of have to feel, learn the size of your vehicle and get to where you can feel where all four wheels are touching, and when you can look ahead and see where all the different rocks are, you can anticipate where they're going to pass underneath your vehicle, just so that you know you're not going to damage it by slamming into the transfer case or the oil pan or the rear differential, something like that. So there's definitely some similarities there in spacewalking and off-roading, just different vehicles. So one more thing Jordan forgot to remind me, but we had steak dinner tonight, and I felt like I needed to dress up for the occasion. So in my camping jacket here, I have my pocket square. But a mountain man's pocket square is really just a Bounty paper towel folded up nicely. So if you're eating steak and out in the wilderness, just make sure you have you a nice little pocket square, okay? All right. Filled my drink up and then I spilled it.